Tonight, negotiations continue between the big three automakers and the UAW. Well, now, the union has heard offers from all three companies, with Stellantis submitting their economic proposal earlier today.
The Jeep maker's counteroffer is the biggest wage increase the UAW has received to date. It includes a 14.5% increase over the 4 years of the contract, as well as lump sum payments for inflation and an acceleration of the timeline for employees to make minimum wage. Right now, we are standing by waiting to hear from UAW President Shawn Fain on Facebook Live.
But joining us right now to break down the offer is Bob King, the former president of the UAW. Bob, thanks for being with us again tonight.
It's good to be with you.
Well, so this is the largest raise offered so far, nearly 15%, but it still falls well short of that 40% the union was looking for. Do you think, how far apart are these sides?
Well, they're pretty dramatically apart. I guess I'd point out a couple things. Number one, this is the best first offer in many rounds of negotiations. So the job that the Fain administration, the whole team is doing in contract campaign, member mobilization, all these practice picketings and everything they're doing, it's obviously the companies know that members are serious and the leadership is serious about a really outstanding campaign. And these offers are, President Fain has characterized them as being insulting. Members that I've talked to are really upset that they're so low. They gave their CEOs a 40% raise. They've been doing stock buybacks. They've been doing all kinds of things for other people, but the people who are really making the vehicles, making them able to make the kind of profits they are the membership. And so a far better economic offer has to be put on the table to get any kind of agreement that can get ratified by the membership.
Bob, and you kind of put it simply there, but what really needs to get done here with less than a week to go to close this gap between the automakers and the union employees?
Well, it's frustrating to UAW members, to leadership. The UAW put its economic offer on the table over a month ago. The companies have delayed and delayed and delayed. And now at the last minute, they finally come forward with some economic offers that are far off the mark. So the only way this is going to get resolved is if the companies put a lot better offer on the table. And as we've talked about in other interviews, they're really strong financially. $250 billion over the last 10 years, $21 billion this year. The manufacturing cost, the labor cost in the manufacturing of a vehicle, 4 or 5%. Come on, when I was bargaining, it was 15, 16%. They have plenty of room to put a lot more on the table to meet the UAW members' demands. And that's what it's going to take to avoid a strike. If there's a strike, the strike is on the companies. So the UAW, even now, they didn't, get so frustrated that they walked away from the table. They're working 24/7 to try to get a contract so there does not have to be a strike. But the companies have the financial wherewithal to give the UAW members a far, far better offer than what they've got on the table now.
Bob, for those of us here at home, we hear a lot of things like if they do agree to the contract, the automakers, that is, that we as consumers are going to have to pay a lot more for cars. But then on the flip side, we hear, like you said, that the big three CEOs have been making record profits. Is there any type of miscommunication or scare tactics going on, do you think, at least for the public?
Thank you. That's a great question. Absolutely there is. I think Shawn did a video just in the last day, and he points out with the terrible low wages that our members have been making and the huge profits they've been making. I think he said the last 4 years, car prices are up 30%. Our opinion, my view, they're doing price gouging right now. It isn't workers' wages. Again, the total cost of labor in the manufacture of a vehicle is less than 5%. Labor costs are not driving up the prices. That's corporate management decisions. They're not happy enough with 21 billion in profits. They are, to my view, my way of thinking, greedy about it. And it isn't on the workers, it's on management to do fair prices. I think they're really shortchanging their shareholders. I think it's irresponsible leadership I've talked about this before. They got in 2019 $9 an hour in healthcare, and yet the UAW has asked them over and over and over again to partner with us to try to get a Medicare for all kind of healthcare program in this country. If we could get some corporate support, we could do that, and they could save that much. It's irresponsible to their shareholders that they haven't partnered with us. It's irresponsible that they aren't going to President Biden and saying, help us be competitive by helping us pass a sectoral bargaining law. We've seen that in the building trades, right, under the Davis-Bacon Act. That if you're making automobile products, everybody should make the same. You shouldn't be able to run to the South and pay lower wages. You shouldn't be able to hire temporary employers and pay employees and pay lower wages. Everybody working on that assembly line, everybody working, making transmissions, engines, batteries, whatever, should make the same rate of pay. That to me is a basic American principle. We want fairness and justice. We don't want people doing the same job at 5 different tiers. I think that's why there's so much support for the UAW in these negotiations. At one poll UAW reported on shortly ago was 75% of the American public. They realize that point you just raised, Amir, that's scare tactics by the companies. That's their propaganda that they're putting out. The truth is that they can keep car prices where they are and still give these really dramatic raises that the UAW members deserve. Get rid of the tiers, do the COLA, do the other things that are the UAW members' demands. That's fairness.
Bob, in the last few moments, Sean Fain on Facebook mentioned that all three offers essentially belong in the trash. Do you believe in any point here that Fain is being so harsh it's turning away and it's turning off the automakers?
No, I don't think so. They understand this. Again, I would look at what's happened over the last 15, 20 years. There's never been first offers at the level of these economic offers. Why? A couple reasons why. Number one, I think it's because President Fain, the vice presidents Browning and Booth and Richie Boyer, they've all done a great job of engaging the membership. And honestly, far more in my administration, any in a long, long time, the members are really engaged in this fight. And because of that, they're getting far better economic offers, and they're going to get a far better contract than has been achieved in a long, long time. So
Yeah.
I think President Fain is expressing what he's supposed to do, the thinking and feelings of the membership. He said over and over again, he does not want a strike. He wants a settlement. But he can get a settlement, go back if the membership doesn't ratify it. What good is that? So he knows because he's been talking to the membership, and the vice president has been talking to the membership, and the team has been talking to the membership. They know what it will take to get the agreement that can get ratified. And the companies ought to listen to them if they don't want the tremendously harmful costs of long strike.